Welcome everybody to a special edition of The Shoot. I'm Eric and I am joined here by...
Just Sharpie Wife.
Okay, that's one way to go at. And you know, this episode was brought on by two things. First of all, on the most recent episode of the Untitled Manny and Marcus show, Marcus and Manny pointed out that I haven't done anything for about a year and a half. And I was like, you know what? Who are they to call me out on my bullshit? But they did. So that's why we're doing this right now. And also, yesterday when I was watching NXT for this Saturday show, Shantae blurted out those words, "It ain't no TNA." And I just laughed at that point. Before we start talking about Hard to Kill, my question for you, how would you describe your relationship with pro wrestling?
I'm a fair weather fan, I guess. You know, I only know it from you and your brothers. But I think I'm pretty much knowledgeable of all of the current wrestlers. Well, just about. Not everyone. But, yeah, I'm a fair weather fan.
I mean, you took me to my first pay-per-view when I think I saw Edge and was it CM Punk in San Diego?
In San Diego,
yeah.
Yeah,
San Diego. That was a fun show.
And Randy.
And Randy, yeah.
Those guys was
we'll
crushing on them.
We'll get to more excitements of why she ended up at this TNA show, but I'm not starting there, and I don't even want to get started with that. Oh, there it is. So this was one of the first shows since TNA announced that they were going to change their name away from Impact Wrestling, go back to TNA Impact. And my question for you, when you went to the show, did you feel the difference in the air of the show? Like, I mean, you've been to WrestleManias, you've been to other shows with us. Did you feel a certain buzz or excitement in the air?
Well, I mean, it felt the same like WrestleMania. At WrestleMania, the different areas we went to for WrestleMania was just always filled with excitement. I mean, just going in was always some type of chant, and you felt it. But so I can't compare the two. It was still excitement for TNA. There was chants going in again. But I guess the intimacy of the show just made it even more exciting. I kind of felt like when we went to, I don't know what that was in the Orleans. Shoot.
It was probably, could have been a TNA show. You mean
that was the first time? Yeah, that was the first time I saw Moose.
Was it TNA? It wasn't Ring of Honor, right? It was TNA. It could have been.
I don't know.
It could have been TNA.
Oh, okay.
I'm not 100% sure because I don't remember. I have to go check the footage. Do you think that, because this was the most engaged I've seen you in a wrestling show, I think that you were at sometimes more engaged than I was.
Nostalgia too.
And do you think that our seats played a role into that? Because we were very close. I mean, I was shocked to see how close we were when we got into the arena at the Palms Casino, the Pearl Arena as they called it.
No, not necessarily the seats. Because I prefer being up top looking down instead of being by those people with all those signs just messing up the view. But but no, it was the nostalgia for me because of all of the ones, the old ones, even the old Fat Tommy Dreamer.
That's one of my questions. We'll get to that because the first match we got was Steve Macklin. He was going against what is his name? I can't remember his name right now. That's the worst part about it. Rich Swann. Rich Swann. And I remember when Rich Swann walked out, he was like, "Who is this guy?" Yeah, he was like, it was a sight to see Rich Swann that close. It just looked like he worked up, and it was points when I was talking bad about that man, and I think you defended him talking about, well, those are dreadlocks. That's what it is.
Yeah. He just didn't have him touched up.
I mean, he kind of looked like a Power Ranger that was working on the Vegas Strip, trying to get some money. You know what I mean? But would you agree that Steve Macklin, when he chopped Rich Swann, that was probably the most it set the tone for the night, I think, for all of us, because I felt that chop, and I was like, ooh, it didn't hit like that, nothing else the rest of the night.
Well, I mean, he wasn't too hard on the eyes either.
Okay, Steve Macklin. All right, there we go.
The whole physique, like, it was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, wow, like, okay, like,
because it was, like you said, it was up close and personal. Like, we could probably reach out and touch a hand if we wanted to. Well, not that close, but we were that close.
Yeah, so then we go from somebody who was easy on the eyes, as you say, Steve Macklin, and we go to the next pre-show match was not as easy on the eyes. It was Crazy Steve going against Tommy Dreamer, and I believe that you laughed so much seeing Tommy Dreamer out there still not letting it go.
And he was talking back to the audience, which was funny because I don't know what that girl said in front of us, but he was like, oh, really? It was funny. The interaction with the audience made it even funnier. And the little man that was doing all his best to work with that big Tommy Dreamer. I mean, like, big as in, like, all of his weight just looked like it was hard to move.
I mean, the whole entire match, it was like Tommy Dreamer getting beat up, laid out. Crazy Steve went around, grabbed some stuff, and then beat him up some more.
Oh yeah, all of the forks,
the forks, the theatrics and stuff like that.
I thought he was gonna do something else with those forks, but
you know, it was what it was. It's the best you can do. The thing that I really enjoyed about this show for me was that I can say both of us going in, we had no idea what was the show was about, but they did a very good job of explaining stuff and the pacing, the stories on the Tron. One of the moments that I love that I don't get in any WWE show or even an AEW show is when they went up to the announcers and we got to hear what they were saying on TV in the arena, and I was like, wow, that's really nice.
Yeah.
So let's get to the main card. The main card started off with the Knockout Ultimate X match. This was a match that Shantae got extremely invested in. It involved Alicia Edwards, Danny Luna, Jody Threat, Tasha Steelz, and Zaya Brookside. We'll put it this way. Shantae was extremely disappointed with the outcome of this match because who did you become a fan of in this match?
I became a fan of Danny Luna. She was doing all the goddamn work. Like, everybody else was taking rest here and down on the floor there and barely doing anything. I mean, even the person that was like the what's her name? What was the antagonist? She was part of the group.
Oh, the one that came out with Moose's group.
Yeah, right.
The sister.
Yeah. She was doing work. Yeah. You know, so just to have Giselle come out on top, that was like,
it was very disappointing to see Giselle.
She was down there the whole time. She wasn't really doing much of the work.
Giselle had one run when she went in there. She had good offense, and it looked like
it was like a hot tag.
It was like a hot tag, and she was very, it was graceful. It was good in the ring, but like she really didn't do anything to deserve this win.
No,
it was all Danny. Danny was clearly like the competitor.
Her weight,
everybody's weight. And then on top of that, you kind of thought maybe Zaya, because she was like the new one introduced, being signed and whatnot, that maybe she would have did something.
I don't know. Jody was doing some stuff too.
Since you brought up some of the nostalgia acts, I mean, you got to see Eric Young. You're familiar with him. We already talked about Tommy Dreamer. Rhino showed up. You got Dirty Dango, aka Fandango, and things like that. You saw PCO almost kill himself. I actually missed that part because I was in the restroom, but I come back and come to find out that he was flipping.
He was flipping a lot of times and then getting back up. I was like, oh my gosh, please don't do it again. Please don't do it again.
Did you enjoy the fact when Santino came out, because you found out that he was an authority figure, and he announced that it was going to be a 6-man tag, and he put Joey somebody or something into the match, and it was like, who is this guy? Joey something, and like Joey was built, but it was like, who is? It's like it was Joey. You had PCO, you had Dango, Dirty Dango. Yeah. It was a fun match. I mean, you didn't take the match seriously. You knew what this match was. And it was just a good time, and the faces won in that match. Going to we go to like the first title matches for the World Tag Team titles. We had ABC, Ace Austin, and Chris Bay the Rascals, Laredo Kid and Mike Bailey, and Grizzled Young Veterans. Before we get to Mike Bailey, because you became a big fan of Karate Man, the Grizzled Young Veterans, Shantae looked at me, I know them from somewhere. Who are these guys? And I was like, NXT. She was like, yeah, I love these guys.
I did.
And to this day, I still haven't seen them win a match in person. So just want to point that out.
They be doing a lot of... They talk a lot of shit.
But you know who was really playing up to the crowd? And I guess they knew it was Ace Austin and Chris Bay, because they kept talking to the people, and the people.
I like them too. Even though they were bad guys.
No, they were actually the faces in that match.
I thought they were bad guys.
No, I think they're good guys. The funniest thing, Marcus had.
ABC.
Yeah.
Okay, the Rascals is the ones that were bad guys.
Yeah, the one. Okay, they were bad guys.
Okay. I like them.
Okay.
They actually did more work than ABC.
They did.
I'm so mad.
ABC didn't really do much in this match.
They didn't do nothing
The
to deserve
funniest
that.
thing is that Shantae went to the merch stand to get Marcus a t-shirt, and you know, she was paid to buy somebody else a shirt, and with no instructions. You know, that's how Marcus do it. And so she comes back with a shirt, and the guy told her the best shirt was this one, and it was the Finesse Club shirt. So of course Marcus had.
He didn't tell me that was the best shirt.
You thought it was the best looking shirt?
I thought it was the best looking shirt.
Well, come to find out, Marcus was a tad bit disappointed, because not only that shirt was already purchased by Ryan, he was squeezing him fat into that. So, you know, Marcus was not going to put that shirt on, but at least he got a TNA Impact hat. That's all that matters. Mike Bailey, Speedball Mike Bailey, his karate. You kept talking about, look at him go. What about him? Was it the mullet? Was him wrestling with no shoes on? I mean,
yeah, that was the first thing that caught my eye. Is him coming in with no shoes on, just using the feet. But him making all the noise. I mean, you couldn't help but look at him.
that's what he was doing.
I'm like, what is he doing? What are you doing? Every time he says, what are you doing? Okay.
So that was, ABC retained their title. Like Shantae said, everybody else did a lot more work in that match but them. But what can you say? Then, Shantae is very familiar with Trinity. She knows her as Naomi. She had her interest. I would say I was a little bit disappointed with the entrance. I thought it was going to be more, especially how they were throwing the glow sticks out, and I got hit with 3 different glow sticks when I wasn't reaching for anything. Like, Marcus is reaching for stuff, Shantae's reaching for stuff, Ryan is reaching for stuff. Shout out to the guy who let us know that his friends couldn't make it to the show, because that was really cool. Don't know who you were, but thank you.
Thank you.
Really pretty. You look like Samoa Joe's cousin or something like that. But so I got hit in the face like 4 or 5 times with the glow sticks. Naomi interest happened, and it was like, that's it. Hey, Fiasco, she wants to talk about this. What did you think of Jordan Grace? This was probably your first time seeing Jordan Grace, who was like
I thought she looked like Ultimate Warrior. I thought she was just a lady version of him, because of how she had the color in her hair. Mm-hmm. And it looked like she was built. Yeah. Her build was kind of like his, and that's what I was that's what I was feeling from her.
She is a bodybuilder. At one point, she used to refer to herself as Big Mama Pump. But,
like Scott Steiner?
Yeah, but I think Scott Steiner even filed some type of lawsuit or something happened where she couldn't use it. I'm not 100% sure what happened.
Wow.
But I would say that this match was actually really entertaining. Trinity, going in, I think most people kind of felt like this was her last match in TNA, and it was even nice to see like the worst disguised wrestlers in the game, Mercedes and Bailey up in the stands, and then it showed backstage they took pictures with Jordan Grace where they talk about including all women and stuff like that. But I thought this was one of the better wrestled matches that I've seen Trinity do, and I can say that her run in Impact has been a very good run for her, and I think she learned a lot. And hopefully, if she is going back to WWE, they won't, dim her glow, like turn her glow down.
Oh, okay.
So, what did you think of the match, though?
It was fine. I think it wasn't one of the better matches there. I think the crowd participation, because everyone kept saying yeet, no yeet, yeet, no yeet. That's what was entertaining me. And Marcus and this other guy from across the way was getting into it, talking about yeet, no yeet, yeet, no yeet. That was entertaining me.
And then I had to correct Marcus that it is no yeet. He's like, wait, she not married to Jeff? He's like, you're right, it's Jimmy. I was like, come on, man, you got to know these things. You know, you do a podcast, for Christ's sake. You know these things. You got to know the difference between Jimmy and Jay. Yeah. You just got to. So let's get to the Grand Resistance, the reason why you were there, the main event where Alex Shelley was defending his TNA championship against the contender who was cashing in his briefcase, Moose. And yeah, so Shantae got to see Moose, and I got to hear all the things about, oh, look how big his hands is. He's really big. Stuff like that. Her and Marcus doing the Moose thing. Ryan doing the Moose thing. I'm booing. I'm cheering my boy Alex Shelley, although I know he was a sitting duck. He wasn't winning nothing. How was the main event for you?
It was fun. Because Alex Shelley was pandering to the crowd, too, and it was his facial expressions and stuff were funny, and then Moose was talking about, don't get my goddamn name out your mouth. Yeah. It was fun to like hear it up close,
like all
what they're saying and seeing. Oh my gosh, like, you know, I'm not fangirling over Moose or anything, but having him that big of a guy flip over and stuff like that, it was amazing.
Yeah, amazing. The interesting thing about this, I would say that there was a big size difference between Alex Shelley and Moose. You could see it. But however, throughout their match, you didn't really notice it because Alex was doing everything in his power to do what he could do to try to fight this big behemoth of a man. And I think how the match even started off when people saw him holding the water in his mouth and he tried to spit water on him. I was like, what are you doing, Alex? That's your best strategy? And like, when Alex stopped doing the offense on him, I was like, why are you leaving? Like, why are you giving up on him? Like, what the hell is this? It made no sense whatsoever. But I thought Alex was a good champion. I thought the match really told a really good story. Moose was clearly the heel. It was defined as that one because he was talking a lot of shit.
He was.
For me, I wish I could have ring seats that close when Roman Reigns in there because he's like the biggest shit talker in there.
Oh man,
when he came in there and beat up Randy on the thing, he was like, I gave you time off when I beat you down to be with your family, and this is how you pay me back. I don't know if he was talking to Randy or AJ, but it was one of them. I was like, why are you talking so much shit? So afterwards, Moose doesn't have time to celebrate. Once again, another blast from the past. Recently let go from WWE. Nick Nemeth, aka Dolph Ziggler.
I don't like that.
That's his real name, though. Oh, that's his real name. That's his real name.
Dang, I'm sorry, Nick.
yeah, like you have to admit that Dolph people didn't like Dolph Ziggler, but it sounds a little bit better than Nick. But he's announced that he's with TNA. He blindsided Moose from the back while Moose's boys was at the top of the system just looking on. I mean, anybody who got Eddie Edwards in that group, they should be ashamed of themselves. But at the same time, it was such a good energy. He attacked him. He goes into the audience. He's screaming. I mean, I can actually say I got excited to the point that I may actually watch an episode of Impact just to see how they follow up from the momentum.
Yeah, because those are some good storylines that they started.
And that's the craziest thing about it.
You didn't talk about the other.
Which one? I didn't know you wanted to talk about everything. I was trying to. I was being conscious of your time, but
sorry.
You tell me what you want to talk. What else you want to talk about?
No, I thought you were talking about all of the matches.
No, because I picked and choose some. But was there a match that I left out that you want to mention that? Because I know you didn't want to talk about MK Ultra versus Rosemary and Havoc. No, because you know the only reason why you bring this up because you guys already heard this on the podcast is because of Ryan, and then also because of the guy with the red beard in the audience who was so infatuated that we all think that he was on some edibles or something like that. I mean,
he was like,
I mean,
and he was doing those mannerisms with his head.
What I remember the most about this match is the person sitting behind me yelling Rosemary to the top of their lung, just in my ear. I had a beanie on, and all I just kept hearing, Rosemary! Rosemary! I'm like, why are you yelling Rosemary? Rosemary, like, it was funny because, like, other people when they were yelling out to the crowd, like if people yelled out to Ace, they would acknowledge them. Rosemary didn't give a damn about none of these people.
Sure did.
She didn't care, and Havoc really didn't either.
They're too busy doing. Well, first of all, she's too busy getting her ass.
I mean, like Rosemary and Havoc got their ass kicked the entire match. I don't understand why MK Ultra lost the match, because clearly I thought they were the better tag team.
Because Havoc came at the hot tag and beat him up.
Man, that hot tag wasn't shit. I'm just saying, like Rosemary should be ashamed of herself for coming back, and that's the performance she gave. I mean, but Ryan really loved him some
MK Ultra.
MK Ultra. He was all in there.
He was like, hey.
Hey. Oh, you also, I forgot, you saw Frankie Kazarian too. You saw him come back, and then you saw him in the casino when we were walking back.
Ooh, and Koslov.
Oh, Koslov. Yeah, Koslov was there.
Oh, man. And Rhino. It was just like, wow. And Eric Young.
Let me tell you.
It just was taking me back. I was like, man, TNA, you back.
Although he is a small guy, I will point out that Hijo del Vikingo, I liked him. Shantae was very impressed with his cape that was made of the sheepskin or whatever.
Ooh,
yeah. Shantae was like, I need that. And I was like, no, you don't.
Man, that was impressive.
And that was a fun match.
And how long it was, too, from the top of the ring to the bottom of the ring.
That was a fun match. Chris
Sabin
retained his title, and they really put on the best they could do with that one, because she didn't know
that those people behind us was like, I don't like Chris Sabin. I'm like,
no, it's funny. Like they don't like Chris Sabin.
Thank you.
They don't like Chris Sabin, but they also was cheering Alex Shelley, and like Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley were Motor City Machine Guns for so long. People were so opinionated. I mean, shout out to the older lady in the front row who gave us the TNA sign, who recorded the whole show.
Sweet.
I mean, like you can tell that the Vegas crowd really enjoyed the wrestling. And for the record, want to point out, this is something that only this podcast or this network will point out. This was the most Black, aka African Americans, I've ever seen at a wrestling show. I was like, sometimes you feel like the minority where you look to the crowd, you see one or two. I was like, man, we everywhere. We was out and about. Martin Luther King weekend preview. That's what we was doing.
Outside.
So is there anything that you want to leave everybody with? I mean, it sounds like you had a really good show. You said that you wanted to maybe watch an episode of Impact or TNA to see what's going on.
I would.
I mean, I thought it was a fun show. I mean, I think now Moose is now the legitimate TNA champion, not like when it was Impact and he was walking around with the TNA title for no good reason because he found it in the trash can. But now, we also got all the. And she keep doing this damn Moose chant. I'll have to end this show. So if you guys like this conversation, this candid conversation of hearing my review and hearing Shantae's review of the show, please leave a like, leave a comment down the bottom. Please don't forget to check out the other shows that take place on Tuesdays and Thursdays for the Untitled Manny and Marcus show. Also on Wednesday, where it's either everything else or some type of special video that Marcus puts out. And then for the granddaddy of them all, the Sharpshooters podcast, where we cover the entire week in wrestling. Or if there's a pay-per-view that week or a premium live event, the way that WWE said, it'll be a watch-along. So, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed this. Until next time, stay sharp.
Ciao.
Moose.
Ooh, no, you didn't.
I did that.